The emergency klaxons had fallen silent 3 days ago. Now only the rhythmic hum of the life support systems filled the observation deck of the Prometheus station, a sound that had once been comforting but now felt like a countdown to oblivion. Melissa pressed her forehead against the reinforced glass, staring at the blue marble below. Earth looked exactly as it always had, clouds swirling over oceans, continents bathed in sunlight, the Terminator line creeping westward as the planet turned beautiful, serene, empty. Still no response from Houston, Burek said behind her, his voice carefully neutral. He'd been trying to maintain that neutrality for 72 hours now, ever since the silence began. Or Beijing, or Moscow, or anywhere. Melissa didn't turn around. What about the automated systems? Traffic control, weather satellites, all functioning normally. It's just, there's no one using them. He paused. It's like someone pressed pause on civilization. They were the last 2 humans aboard the station. The other 4 crew members had taken the emergency return vehicle 2 days ago, unable to bear the uncertainty any longer. Commander Zhong had given them a choice: stay and monitor from orbit, or return to Earth and discover the truth firsthand. Melissa and Burek had chosen to stay. Someone needed to maintain humanity's presence in space, they'd reasoned. Someone needed to keep the station operational, to keep broadcasting, to keep hoping that this was all just a massive communications failure. But deep down, they both knew better. I'm going to suit up, Melissa said suddenly, pushing away from the window. We're going down. Burek's eyebrows shot up. And what? Zhong took the only working return vehicle, the prototype lander in Bay 4. The one they told us was too experimental to trust. Melissa, that thing has had exactly 1 successful test flight, and 7 billion people have had 0 successful anything for the past 3 days, she snapped, then immediately regretted her tone. Sorry, we can't stay up here forever, Burek. We need to know. He studied her for a long moment, then nodded slowly. You're right, but we do this smart, full systems check, emergency protocols, and if anything goes wrong during descent, then at least we tried. 6 hours later, the experimental lander Icarus 7 separated from the station with a gentle thud. Melissa's hands moved across the control panel with practiced precision, though her heart hammered against her ribs. Beside her, Burek monitored the descent trajectory, his dark eyes fixed on the rapidly approaching planet. Entry burn in 30 seconds, he announced, all systems green. The lander shuddered as it hit the upper atmosphere, flames licking at the viewport. Melissa gripped the controls tighter, fighting to keep their trajectory stable. This was humanity's specialty, turning controls falling into an art form. They'd done it to the moon, to Mars, to the moons of Jupiter. They'd always found a way. Parachutes deployed, Burek called out. Touchdown in 2 minutes. Target, New York City. They'd chosen Manhattan deliberately. If anyone was left on Earth, surely they'd be in one of humanity's great cities. The buildings grew larger in the viewport, the familiar skyline of glass and steel rising to meet them. But something was wrong. The streets should have been rivers of yellow taxis. The bridges should have been clogged with traffic. Instead, everything was still. The lander touched down in Times Square with a gentle thump. For a moment, neither of them moved. Then Melissa reached for her helmet seal. Wait, Burek said, checking his instruments. Atmosphere reads normal. Oxygen levels perfect. No toxins, no radiation. It's like nothing happened. That's what makes it terrifying, Melissa whispered. They emerged into the surreal stillness of an empty New York. Cars sat abandoned mid-intersection, doors hanging open. Digital billboards continued their endless advertisements to no one. A hot dog cart stood unattended, its umbrella flapping in the breeze. But no people, no bodies, just ... Absence. Melissa's radio crackled to life. She and Burek froze, hope surging through them like electricity, calling any survivors. This is Melissa Reeves and Burek Yilmaz of Prometheus Station. We have returned to Earth. If anyone can hear this, that's your voice, Burek said slowly. But you're not transmitting. They looked at each other, confusion mixing with fear. Then Melissa understood. It's a recording. From our emergency broadcast. She checked her wrist display, playing on loop from every communications device on the planet. Then whoever or whatever did this wants us to hear ourselves, Burek said. Wants us to know we're being listened to. A chill ran down Melissa's spine. She turned slowly, scanning the empty streets, the dark windows of skyscrapers. Something had taken 7 billion people without a trace, without violence, without warning. And it had left the infrastructure intact, left the planet habitable. We're being tested, she said suddenly. Think about it. Every other species we've encountered in space has been extinct. We've only found ruins and artifacts. What if that's the test? What if something takes civilizations, when they reach a certain point, to see what happens next? Baruch was quiet for a moment. And we're supposed to, what? Rebuild? Prove humanity deserves to continue? Maybe. Melissa looked up at the sky, where Prometheus Station was an invisible dot among the stars. Or maybe we're supposed to prove we can survive anything. That's what humans do, right? We adapt, we persist, we survive. She activated her communications array, broadcasting on every frequency simultaneously. This is Melissa Reeves. If you're testing us, if you're watching, know this. You took our people, but you left our legacy. Every book, every database, every piece of knowledge we've accumulated. You left our technology, our infrastructure, our dreams written in concrete and steel. You thought you could erase us, but humanity isn't just people, it's the indomitable will to continue, no matter what. Beside her, Burek smiled grimly and added his voice. We've survived ice ages and plagues, wars and disasters. We've climbed out of caves and reached for the stars. And we'll do it again, however long it takes, whatever it costs. That's what makes us human. The city remained silent, but somewhere, somehow, Melissa felt certain they were being heard. They would rebuild. They would endure. Because that's what humanity did best.